join you. So at the very beginning on what to do, you want to teach the brand new person to expose 20 to 30 people to the opportunity in the first 3 to 4 days. So what I'd like to do is the first day or two, I want them to be familiar with the products. I want them to be familiar with the information. I want them to print stuff, go to the back office, listen to the voicemail, sort of indoctrinate themselves in the information. Then I want them to create a very specific list. Tom, did you cover the list earlier? So I don't want to be redundant.
Did not.
Okay, so to give you what I suggest, I did a little bit of it last night, I'll repeat it again in case you didn't have a pen, to target the most likely people to enroll with you in the next 30 days, the first question you ask everyone is, if I was working with you, Dave, I'd say, Dave, write down a list of the 5 people that are the most health-conscious people you know. So write that down right now. Just write down that question. You're teaching me. I just enrolled underneath you. You're like, Scott, write down a list of the 5 most health-conscious people you know. The next thing is, Scott, who are the 5 most entrepreneurial people you know? They're always starting new businesses. Write that list down. The next list I'm going to ask is, if I gave you $1 million today, Scott, who are the 5 people you'd want to manage your money? Now, these people are sharp, and they have the respect of people. Those are 5 people you want to manage your money. Write that question down. The next question you want to ask your new affiliate is, who are the 5 most connected people that you know? Now, if you read the book, The Tipping Point, there's an unbelievable chapter, one of the most important chapters you could read in any book, talks about connectors and mavens in society, people that really connect and make things happen. I mean, you could go buy the book, The Tipping Point. If you just read this chapter, it could completely alter the way you look at people. But the bottom line is, who are the most connected people you know? Write those 5 people names down. The next is the 5 most skeptical people you know. The people that will definitely complain and tell you why it sucks. You put that list down. You want to ask them, this is why it doesn't work, here's why you'll never make it, here's what's wrong with everything. People are very, very skeptical. Now, they might not all be that way, but you want to write those 5 people down. And the last is the 5 people that will meet you in the next 24 hours, no questions asked. This is the perfect group of people to start with.
Which one?
Which one?
The last one.
The last one was the 5 people that would meet with you in the next 24 hours, no questions asked. They just love you. They just support everything you do. You know, their girlfriends, guy friends are like, hey, let's go have coffee. Great, I'm coming. There's not a reason you have to meet. They're just going to meet. Let's go have drinks. Great. These are the people that are supporters. So you have the negative people that will tell you all what's wrong, but the people that will just meet you in the next 24 hours, they love you anyway. They'll support you. 1 or 2 of those people will just sign up because you're in. That's all that really matters. So what I'm trying to teach you is, before you go to your list of 100 or 200 or 300 people, teach all of your people to grab this list first. Because it doesn't matter if we have a list of 300 if we're not going to talk to the first 20 or 30. And if we're going to talk to 20 or 30, let's create and control the environment. So the environment we're trying to control is the response rate. So I'll talk a little bit about that, but did you follow up with me so far? So that's the right people to talk to. So there's 3 rules. You see it in your training book. If you have the training book, it says exposure's everything, fortune's in the follow-up, work with the willing. So the key is, here's the people to expose. Here's the key 30 people. I just gave those people to you. So you teach a new person, or if you're brand new and you haven't gone through this list yet, start this week, go through this list of people, and then fortune's in the follow-up. It's been my experience over 25 years, $1 billion in sales in my organizations. I don't know how many people I've enrolled over the years, an enormous amount, but I've never had somebody call me on the phone, want to drive over to my house, knock on my door, and hand me a credit card. It's never happened. I always had to follow up and ask them how they see themselves getting started. So don't expect people to come knocking down your door and come give you a credit card. It isn't going to happen. So if you want them in the system, you need to just follow up and ask them some simple questions. So what I tend to do is, when I have this list of people, I will, and I'll talk to you what I say in a couple minutes, but what I typically say is, I want you to grab a pen, listen to this number, and I'm going to call you back in the next 12 hours or 24 hours. And I really only ask people one question. I'm going to get back with you shortly, and I'm going to ask you one question. I tell everybody right up front, I want you to take a look at what I'm sending you. What did you find that was most interesting about what you read or what you saw or what you heard? Was it the products and the way they impact people, or was it the opportunity and the timing in the marketplace? I'm just going to ask you one question. I'm interested in your thoughts. That's it. I tell people when I'm giving them the phone number, the 712 number, exactly what I'm going to ask them when I call them up. And then I call them up in, a couple of hours or the next day, and I said, I promised yesterday I'd ask you one question, so I have the question. What is it that you found most interesting about what you saw or what you read or what you heard with the links that I sent you, with the video I sent you, with the website I sent you, whatever you sent them. And then you listen. And all I'm looking for is what was most interesting. Write this down. Never ask anybody what they think. Write that. Never. What do you think? That is a terrible question to ask. You have no idea what's going to show up when you ask somebody what they think. Whether they think about the economy or the weather, about direct selling, you have no idea what's going to happen. You want to ask people questions that make decisions for people, okay? That simply make decisions for people. And that's all you're really asking people to do. In fact, if you're asking people a lot of really good questions, you can bring them to whatever point you want them to get to. It's not very complicated at all. In fact, I'll just do an example here. I'll use you, Chris. I'll just ask you a series of questions. Do you ever play cards? Are you familiar with cards?
Yes.
Okay. On a deck of cards, there's how many suits?
I'll go that far.
There you go. But in a deck of cards, there's 4 suits. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, and there's 2 colors. Is that true?
Yes.
So there's red cards and black cards, right?
Right.
Which is your favorite, red cards or black cards?
Right.
Red cards. Okay. So in the red cards, there's 2 suits. Is that true?
Right.
Okay. Do you remember what the suits are?
Diamonds, hearts.
Diamonds and hearts. Okay. So in diamonds and hearts, which is your favorite, diamonds or hearts?
Say diamonds.
Diamonds, which leaves us with what?
Hearts.
Hearts. So in the hearts, there's face cards and number cards. Is that true?
True.
Okay, so which is your favorite, face cards or number cards?
Number.
Okay, which leaves us with what?
Face.
Face cards. So in the face cards, what are the face cards?
Jack, King, Queen, and...
Yeah, Jack, King.
Ace.
All right, Jack, Queen, Queen. Of the Jack, King, and Queen of hearts, which one's your favorite?
King.
King. Of hearts?
Yes.
Hearts. So if you actually know exactly where you want to take somebody, you can keep asking somebody questions until you get them right where you want them to go, right? I mean, it's really that simple. So I